Kirk here with MMO Attack, and we are here with SOE's Dave Georgeson. So we are here to announce today that EverQuest Next Landmark is going into Alpha. So tell me a little bit about what that means to you.
Well, what it means is we have a heck of a lot of players in our game. So we go from being a quiet little shop where we're just, the number of people on the dev team working in the game to all of a sudden many thousands of people working with us.
And you're excited.
Oh, yeah. I mean, what I've been kind of joking with internally is that we're about to go from a 100-strong dev team to being a 20,000-strong dev team. And that means that we're going to have to spend a lot of time gathering information from players and talking to them, getting their opinions and their feedback. And it's really what we want to do. The idea of crowdsourcing a game together is a cool one, yeah.
And this is the first SOE title to go into an official alpha with players from outside. Why did you decide EverQuest Next Landmark was the one to do that with?
Well, it's the nature of the beast. Because when we started out doing Landmark, it was originally going to be just a beta release of the tools that we were using to build EverQuest Next. And the idea was always that the players would be working with us to build Next. And then it kept snowballing into something bigger and bigger and bigger. And then Landmark got to be its own thing, but we still have that same goal. So if we wait till beta to let players in, most of the game's done, and we don't have an opportunity to go back and forth with them. And this is supposed to be a game that's about them helping us build the game. So we can't do that if we go in too late. Alpha seemed natural. And after we got over the idea of being scared about that, it started to become actually really exciting. And in fact, I've been making games for a quarter century, and this is absolutely the most solid alpha I've ever seen because we knew it was going to be public facing. So we had to put all this extra work and polish into it to make it good. And it just means that between here and beta, it should become great.
So who can play alpha starting on the first day?
Founders, packs, purchasers, basically trailblazers and explorers. And then settlers will come in when we go to closed beta.
And what can players expect to find in the game? Obviously, it's not complete yet, but the players that are playing for the first day, first week, what can they expect to find?
Yeah, alpha is basically... well, it's about the definition in dev is usually 60% of the assets and a full vertical slice of the gameplay. And that's a weird term for a lot of people. So what I mean by a vertical slice is all the features that you can use to play the game are there, but maybe not fully fleshed out or not fully robust. And so that means that people can come in and they can mine and they can chop down trees and they can build and they can make claims and they can work with other people and they get all the communication stuff and all the crafting and all that other stuff is in there. There's a lot of gameplay in the game. It just gets better from between here and closed beta.
In alpha again, what is going to be kind of noticeably missing during the first few weeks?
Well, we have everything that we anticipated having on day one. We're not compromising at all, but there's some stuff that we just didn't plan to have done by alpha, so it's not in yet. Things like our fluid dynamics for water, some of the other aspects of gameplay, and I'm just blanking on an answer for you right now, but things like, as we go farther along with closed beta, all those different elements that make the world really alive, like say weather or those kinds of systems will start coming in as we get closer and closer to beta, and then when closed beta rolls around, we'll have all the systems.
What sort of things are you hoping to achieve with this first alpha phase?
Well, first of all, finding out if we're right about the fun factor. So we'll go in and we'll watch people play. We know that there's some interfaces and stuff that are just clunky. And so we'll be gathering feedback and ideas from the players and customizing those interfaces because we want them to be silky. Just people get in and they don't have to think about it, they just play. And so we're getting closer and closer to that, but there's still some awkward stuff. So that's one thing. And then the other one is the players telling us where they want to go. Because we know that we're building a giant sandbox, and that means the players can literally do anything. We have good educated guesses about the things that we think that they want. Now we'll get to know for sure.
So we've been able to play the game today for quite a few hours. I've noticed, I don't want to say it's a steep learning curve, but there's a lot of stuff going on with all the tools involved. So how do you think players are going to, when they jump in, like are players going to get it right away, or are they going to need some help?
Well, first of all, your experience was different than a regular player. So what we did with your play test was we put you in super user mode, and we gave you all of the tools, and we gave you a ton of resources, and we set you up to be able to do everything. When a player starts in a Landmark, when they first start, they only have a few of the tools, and they have limited resources, so they need to go out and mine and chop wood and things like that, and that gives them time to get used to the concepts, and then as they craft the other tools that they need to be able to use to build, like selection tools and smoothing tools and things like that, that gives them natural opportunities to play with those individual tools as they make them, and that gives them a nice learning curve, a nice shallow learning curve.
They're building on things they just practice, and they keep adding on to what they're learning.
What you said, yeah.
Is there someplace that people can go to get those initial questions out?
Right. There's an intro video that plays the first time you go into the game, and it gives you just a general overview of what an alpha is and what's going to be available in the game. And then there's tutorial videos in the build. So when they download the build, there will be all these tutorial videos on how to use the different tools. And then we also have an FAQ that's all about the things that aren't in the game yet, because we want players to be able to get a good image of what the game will be, so that they can see what it is versus what it will be, and to be able to give us good suggestions. If you feel like the learning curve is too steep, people quit. And we don't really want that. We want them to get excited about it. Well, the general reaction that we get when we show people the game is excitement. They get it, they like what they see, and they want to be able to do it. We just need to make sure that the learning curve is such that that is a natural process.
And lastly, tell us a little about /ONOD.
So Omid Dariani, our marketing director, the brand manager for the whole franchise, did a hysterical video where we were doing one of those roundtable discussions, and somebody joked about the Ixar and the fact that they weren't wearing any clothes, so they were naked Ixars. And Omid, just being funny, looked at the camera and was like, "Yeah." And because of that, the fans captured his face, and it became this little meme thing. And one of the guys on Twitter, one of the players said, "Wouldn't it be awesome if we had an emote that was the Omid nod?" So I went to the artist and I said, "Hey, what do you think?" And they made it, and it said the same day the suggestion was made, it was in the game. And honestly, that's welcome to Landmark, because that's what we're doing all the time, is we're gathering ideas and requests from the players and then putting them in, making the game more of what they want.
Exactly. Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Dave. And get into the alpha now. It's available now. Thank you.